each and every city that I'm in, it just becomes more clear that you got to show up. You need to be ready for the opportunity when it presents itself, and only then is when great things can happen. And so I encourage you as a founder and entrepreneur to think about how you're showing up every day, how you're going about your life. Are you making sure that you're putting yourself in those opportunities for success, and then make the best of that opportunity? A lot of people ask me why I chose entrepreneurship, and maybe who influences or what influences me as I have pursued this type of life, and more importantly, building what we are building in Founders Live around the world. And it's hard. It's like, oh, okay, like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and these people. And honestly, I would say I just look to the people that have gone before me and before us as examples. And you can pull inspiration from them, or you can pull just some of their purposes and whys. And I will point out Steve Jobs in the sense that I feel like Jobs was able to show us the type of leader that thinks differently. And I have taken from that the lesson I want to share with all of you here is it is so important to actually think different, to look at the world and find things that need to be fixed, enhanced, problems in the world that need to be solved with new solutions, new devices or experiences. And then you think differently. Because one thing we do know is that the world continues forward and things change. When things change, society changes. Our solutions to problems need to change or be enhanced. I would ask you, who influences you and why? And is this someone you would like to emulate in one way or another? And so I think about those influences, and as an entrepreneur, going back to the think uniquely and think different, is that another lesson that I've learned here is that, geez, like there's way too many people trying to be the same, trying to follow the crowd, trying to stick in or be included in a group. Well, what about being unique? What about standing out? What about finding your own voice? Those are the things that became very clear to me, that success revolves around finding your unique path, finding your unique voice, discovering your greatness. Because then you become one of one. You don't want to be, why would you want to be one of a million? Or one of all these people? Why not be one of one? And that has stuck with me for a long time. And so when I look at a lot of the influence that I've had over the past, it's became very clear that you need to take time to figure out your purpose, your why, to figure out your own voice, to figure out what you stand for, what you're creating, and what world do you want to help others discover. And that's really, really stuck with me as I've grown Founders Live.
I'm really curious about the roadshow that you have been doing.
Yeah.
What was your why, and what is it that you really see taking Founders Live as in the next 5 years, 10 years?
Well,
I was curious.
Look, in a short way, like our why is really that, basically Founders Live is 10 years old. So I started it just as basically a pitch competition, and let's highlight the startups in Seattle. That's where I started, and then it started spreading around the United States and then the world. Okay, and so the first kind of 5 to 7 years was really more like, hey, this event was just starting to happen in other cities, and we started to grow this community. But in the end, man, like what I started to really talk with founders like yourself, and as I've started to travel, I mean, it's become directly crystal clear to me that there is so many talented people in this world, whether they're India, here in Ireland, in Africa, whatever. There are, like, no joke, they're smart, they're insightful, they're talented, they want to build, they want to create.
Yep.
The problem is, around the world, most all of them have no opportunity. They're not getting served. They're not getting supported.
Yep.
They're not getting the money. It's literally the 1%. And by the way, venture capital, it's like 0.505% or something, okay? How many hundreds of millions of people, if not billions of people, could, should, and would be successful if they actually just got supported, received like the right resources, access to whatever capital, if hopefully there's something of operational capital, and the opportunity to be successful. I think like that's our why. And so that's why we build Founders Live around the world. And now I personally travel, so I pick a part of the world every year and visit our cities like this. And to me, whether it's an interview like this or the event that we'll have, every single day and every single time that I'm doing this, it just makes me more, not convinced, but more aware of the depth of humanity and like the potential. And we just need to get resources to people. And that's really what Founders Live is about. And, I see a huge future of, helping people reach the level that they want to get to. This is not about unicorns. Yeah. I think that's kind of look, build $1 billion company. What the hell? Like, what does that mean? And like, it just is ridiculous. So what it's about is like orders of magnitude more people around the world building great companies, products, solving problems, like especially the new problems of like, environment, climate, all that stuff, sustainability. That's the world that I want to live in, right? And we're getting there. It's really, really exciting. And so, and I would say the last thing is, look, I'm just, came from a middle of the road, in the United States, like not a wealthy family, literally middle class. And I just want people to have opportunities, and just like I didn't have one early on, and that's kind of why I work this thing. And so I want to be able to have others that feel that they're like, oh, well, how do I go raise money? Or I don't have a rich family. That should not be in the way of being successful,
That's so powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, thanks for the question, and it's fun, and why not travel the world and meet people like yourself?
Absolutely.
So, hey man, it was great to chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As Simon Sinek would say, you start with your why. And I can tell you right now, you figure that out, you get clear on your why, and everything else will take care of itself.